Today, I'd like to talk about copper, which Trump, I think it was 2 days ago, came out and said this. He's putting a 50% tariff on copper effective August 1st. And he says, look, copper is necessary for semiconductors, aircraft, ships, ammunition, data centers, lithium batteries, radar systems, missile defense system, and even hypersonic weapons. And he says that, what are our sleepy leaders decimate such an important industry and reverse the Biden administration's thoughtless behavior and stupidity. I don't know where he fits in here since he was president for 4 years and he did nothing about it. But he's putting on the 50%. The question is why? We just went through and saw on the rare earth minerals, it was pretty obvious why. And I'd also state that with the federal government going in and taking, the majority position inside MP materials, what that tells me is you got to go back when China announced 2 days after the ceasefire with Israel that they had signed the rare earth mineral agreement with the United States. We announced during it that we had signed it, but they didn't sign it until we stopped bombing Iran. So in that period of time, whatever it's been, 3 weeks, we have now gone out and done basically almost an historic thing of buying into MP materials. To me, that shows the seriousness of the issue, which I think we've shown many times in doing the rare earth minerals. So why don't we take a look at copper? I will say to you that all these things that are bubbling up now, the chips, copper, where we're going to build our ships, all this other stuff, okay? All I'll say to you is remember something. All these things cost huge amounts of money. We're talking billions, if not hundreds of billions, if not over trillions of dollars in the end, over 15 years of building out all these capabilities ourselves. So, what's the deal with copper? So first, here's all the copper deposits around the world. And you can see, United States, we've got a lot, South America, especially Chile. So this is where everything is. And people have been saying that copper is the new oil, and you can see why. It is going, right now, it's bigger, way bigger than oil use. And by the way, for America, we're the largest oil producer in the world. So again, you have to go by what's important to our country, all right? Not so much are we number one. And so you can see copper is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as we electrify the system. Now, this is the top, not the top 10, it's a top 10 list, but I just wanted to say that the United States is the 4th largest exporting country. I have to be honest, of all the things I've seen here, this is the most amazing. So, we are the 4th largest exporter of copper. But when you bring it up to refined copper, right? So this we learned in the rare earth minerals, right? A lot of people mine rare earth minerals. 92% is refined by China. And as you can see here, it's about 90% of the copper. So for me, just looking at those numbers, I'm wondering, is this about refined copper or mining copper? So if we're putting 50% on copper, and I've read it several times, it doesn't say refined copper. And if you look at the people that are mad at us, it's the miners. So again, I'm a little confused about what's going on with the 50%. But if you know, please explain it to me. So since we're an exporter, 4th largest in the world, I said, well, why don't we do the refined copper, right? Who refines copper in the United States? And by the way, you can see up there I had to ask, but do not mine it, right? Because no matter how many times you asked AI, they'd always give me the miners. And so here are the companies in America that refine copper. And Freeport-McMoRan is a big operator of mines, but it has a key smelter in Arizona. And here are two smaller ones. And the Ames is a recycling and refining of copper scrap, all right? And we're still that the United States and Europe are quickly building out scrap for the rare earth minerals. And here's a little kind of like Excel spreadsheet. Here's our four companies in America, and here's what they do. I don't know how Trump feels about it, but Mexico is our major U.S. refinery. So when I ask, who does the U.S. import refined copper from? Chile is 60 to 67, Canada 17%. So right there, you're talking over 80% right there. Mexico, another 10, so it's about 90% basically from Chile, Canada, Mexico. And we just slapped Canada with 35%. So we get 85% of our potash from Canada. They send us over 4 million barrels of oil a day at a discount. They send us electricity into the Northeast. We would go dark in the Northeast without Canadian power. And yet we still continue to hit them with 35%. And Trump said that if they retaliate against him, he's going to make them bigger. So these are just observations. I would say that we have learned that these tariffs are not necessarily about trade. Trump is putting 50% onto Brazil, and we have a $7.4 billion surplus with Brazil. Brazil is the second largest buyer of our steel. They say they're going to move away from us. So we know the tariffs aren't exactly about trade. And then you say, well, what are these to do? If we're putting a 50% on copper, not on refined copper, what does that mean? I don't understand. Why wouldn't we do what we do at MP? If we needed more refiners, why don't we go to a refiner and say, hey, let's buy a piece of you, double your production, we'll help you fund it, through tax cuts or funding or whatever, right? Why the tariffs on the entire world? This doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, business sense. And it really kind of clouds the water on where we can invest. When we looked at the rare earth minerals, it was kind of obvious that, we had one company that had patents that were worth anything, and the government snapped them up. So what's going on here? What are they trying to accomplish? I totally get it. Copper is going to be big in the new electrified world. And that includes our EV, everything. You saw what Trump said. They gave him the list. This is why he put on these tariffs. But I'm trying to understand, what are you trying to solve for so that we can invest in it? And at this particular moment, it's not that clear. What do you think? Tell me in the comments, and please like and follow, and have a good day.